Hi everyone, it's Catherine here from Ink Finger Cat, and we are here with another Christmas in July. I think today I've managed to film 3 videos, so I'm feeling a little bit weary now, I must admit. But it does mean that I am feeling confident that at least I have a chance of getting through this month. So, just for those who don't know, Christmas in July, I did it last year. I'm doing a video every single day making a Christmas project. I love making Christmas projects. I make them all year round anyway. But this is a bit of a mammoth task, especially because I'm doing them all as videos. So, today's theme, because I gave myself a little bit of organisation and gave myself themes for each day and did a bit of planning in advance. So today's theme is mistletoe, or strictly speaking, kiss me under the mistletoe, but obviously mistletoe is the main feature. So I knew I wanted to use that cover die that's from My Favourite Things, that's the mistletoe cover die. Other than that, I didn't know what I was doing. That's as much as the planning was. So, it's better than nothing. And so I had a little hunt through my stash and I found these magazine stamps that include these cute ones that I think will work as mistletoe. So the cover die I cut out of the green foiled paper, cardstock, that's from Kingston Crafts. It's just a gorgeous rich green. Actually, it's probably too emerald for mistletoe, but you know what? We're allowed a little bit of artistic license, aren't we, when we're crafting? I did some really simple colouring with 2 colours of Pro markers. You'll saw that I got quite a few out, but I only ended up using the 2. And then just a little bit of I think it's almond, for the berries. So mistletoe berries are white, but obviously white on a white stamped, it looks better if you've done some form of colouring. And as it is, I do go over it at the end in order to slightly change up the berries, but I'll talk through that when that happens. Now, these are magazine stamps, so no coordinating die, unfortunately. Bit of fussy cutting has to be done. Not an issue. I think these are relatively easy. And the trick with curved bits is move the paper, not the scissors. Okay, that's the easiest way to get some reasonably good curves. I'm not brilliant at cutting circles, but yeah, this is the easiest way to do. So you'll see that the scissors pretty much stay static. It's the other hand is twisting and turning the piece of paper. So I have these 4 elements, and I'm just going to add those as a sort of cluster on my panel. I ummed and ahed at the beginning about whether I was going to mount it on black or white. I do end up mounting the panel onto the black, and then I do use the black for the sentiment. I think this ties in quite nicely because this stamped image is obviously stamped in black. But you'll see I do something different to the card blank before it all goes down and gets finished off. So nearly there on my fussy cutting. Doesn't take too long. And I think I've mentioned on other videos, I'm generally just listening to an audiobook whilst I'm crafting these days. If I'm listening to anything at all, sometimes I just craft in silence, but I am listening to audiobooks whilst I'm doing most of this. So I don't mind a bit of fussy cutting because it just kind of, I'm concentrating on the book that I'm listening to more than what I'm actually doing. So don't mind the repetition. Now the sentiment is actually another magazine set, and this one I think was an indigo blue one. I quite like the sort of like vintagey looking type. It's like a proper typewriter type with a little bit of grunginess to the edge. Purely by fluke, I had cut this banner exactly the right size to fit in the punch. So fluke, perfect. Could then punch the end into a banner. If it had not fit, I might have slimmed it down a little bit to fit, or I might have just gone and hand cut my banner. So this is the panel for behind the die. I did contemplate stacking it a little bit and putting like another die cut underneath it to stack it up, but I decided no, it was fine as it was, because with all that shine, it's already quite special. And I knew I was going to put this on a 6x6 card blank, so I was like, no, I'm fine with it as it is. I don't want it to be too bulky. But what I did do, once I got this stuck down, unusually, what I normally do at this point is I normally stick something heavy on top of it whilst it's drying, and I didn't. I mustn't have been concentrating. But what I did do is, rather than stick the leaves, the mistletoe sprigs down directly, is I create these tiny little scraps of the white, and I'm just adding those down the centres, so it gives a tiny bit of dimensions because it's stacked too deep, but leaves sort of the edges a bit free. I just think it looks quite nice to have that, just that little bit of dimension, but not as much as if I'd have used foam tape, for example, that or adhesive, foam adhesive tabs. They would have been too deep, and I just wanted that little bit. So I do it on all 4 of them, and I ummed and ahed about how I wanted them displayed, and clustered, sorry, and I ended up with sort of the top and the left being full and the bottom staying empty, because I really like that shine of the background and that cover die. I just think it's really sweet. So I did and ah about this, but yeah, ended up with it there. And then my sentiment is going to go across the middle. However, because I've stacked those leaves, those sprigs, I do need to do a little bit of the same on the banner. So the middle bit I leave blank, and on either end I have like 2 layers of the black cardstock just underneath the little banner. So now I've brought in my 6x6 card blank. This is a pre-made card blank, I haven't made it myself, and I know I'm going to pop it over to the right hand side. So I think, what's the best way of me decorating the rest of the card blank? And at first I was going to just stamp, and then I decided to do 2nd generation and 3rd generation ink to go across the card. I didn't do it far enough across, so I do a few more, and then I decide, do you know what, I think I'm going to do it all the way around the card. I'm not going to just do that little edge. I'm going to have it so that the whole card front is decorated with these leaves in the 2nd generation inking. I'm usually a bit of a nightmare when it comes to 2nd generation inking, and I forget halfway through that that's what I'm doing. I normally stamp one of them really black and then go, no. But in this case, I managed to realise what I was doing and concentrate. So because this was quite a large panel, I didn't want to get it wonky and not be able to pull it back up again. So I did put a little bit of glue over the double-sided tape. Just gives you that tiny bit of wiggle room. But it went down nicely. And this is where I decided to just step up those little berries a little bit. So I'm using a shimmer ink and a bit of water on the paintbrush just to dust over those berries to give them like a champagne shine. Probably can't see it on the video or the photos, but in real life it just adds another little bit of shine to the card. Simple's done. Simple. Probably one of the easiest cards I've made so far. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, that cover die does all of the work, to be fair, and then just a little bit of stamping and colouring and fussy cutting. So please do give me a thumbs up if you did. Drop me a comment below. What do you like about this card? And do you ever make cards that are this simple? Please do subscribe to see more. And, well, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.